Recon Athlete Podcast is brought to you by Kreitz Market, The Social, and Focus Fit San Marcos.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
All right, Recon Athlete, episode number 69. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez. Mr. Paul Rodriguez on the line now. Mr. Paul, you hear me?
What's happening, y'all? How y'all doing tonight?
Oh, man, we're good, man. We're good. We're chilling. You know, got the Corona siren rolling. Got episode 69 rolling. Gonna do a little bit of, let's see, what did I put on here?
You put some stuff, man. I was reading it. Like, what? Let them know, Chris. Let them know.
You know, a stimulus check. We're going to talk about our stimulus check. You know what I'm saying? Talk a little bit of a Christian McCaffery contract that just happened, the Carolina Panthers running back. That pretty much just changed the game as far as the running back contracts go. And Paul, I'm sure you've got a take on that one. Also, I threw in a little bit of extra. I threw some rat wars that are happening right now. And also WWE, I found this interesting the other day, was deemed an essential business in the state of Florida. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit as well. But Paul, we're still, we're still quarantining. You know what I'm saying? Still quarantine. Quarantine. And still hanging out. Shout out to Snoop Daniel over in the green room here at the Paddock Studios. We're still doing our thing. We're still working from home. Still keeping business rolling. Today was payday, and I went in to my checking account today, Paul, and to check to see if my paycheck had hit, right? And my paycheck had hit, but a little bit extra. Actually, a lot of bit extra. I guess it kind of depends on where you're at in the in the socioeconomic spectrum. There was a lot of bit. My IRS stimulus check hit today, and I was pleasantly surprised, and I squirreled some away in my savings account, paid a couple of bills that I needed to pay, and took care, basically pay bills, and then the rest I squirreled away. Paul, did you get yours?
No, man, I'm tired of hearing y'all talk about it too.
Hey, bro.
I'm tired. I heard old Zachariah on Monday talking about his, and now I sure look, man. I looked up there. I was like, well, man, it's got to be here by Wednesday.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I did file my taxes pretty late. And by late, I mean in late March. Mm-hmm. So maybe I wasn't in the group of the first wave of checks to come out. But the IRS, I did get my tax return back though, in 2 weeks. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm sure it'll come. So I'm not really too worried about that. But yeah, I sure am sick of hearing all y'all talk about it. And then, if you have, which you and I don't have children that we know of.
Yeah.
No, we don't. But it's good that there's a little bit of economic relief that's sent out for those who qualified, for the individuals with children who are creating more taxpayers.
Yeah, and it was nice for me, but I tell you what, it was definitely a necessity for a lot of people out there that have lost jobs or been on furlough and have had to apply for unemployment. So shout out to everybody out there that's still struggling right now. We'll hopefully get through this sooner than later, but it was a nice surprise for me. I was able to squirrel a little bit away, like I said, but the whole stimulus check thing, it's kind of caused a little bit of debate between me and some friends, and Paul, you being one of them. And you said something on the messenger about it being a loan.
No, you're gonna make me be the bad guy. Okay.
No. No, because you're not the only one that I've heard this from. It being a loan. You know what I'm saying? And I was just kind of interested to hear that point of view on the stimulus check being a loan. I mean, where have you heard that? And why do you consider that? Because maybe you can convince me. I don't know. I'm just looking at it as a little bit extra money for me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Just like I wear on the daily chanclas, or as most people know them as flip flops, I'm flipping back on this one. So after we had this conversation and I had some more time to research and dig and dig and dig, apparently, according to the CARES Act and information on the IRS, this stimulus check is pretty much an advance on your tax return for next year.
Okay.
So it's not a loan, and it's pretty much basically the government saying we're giving you an advance on your tax return for 2021, which would be the fiscal year of 2020. So
okay, go ahead. You go ahead. You finish up.
Well, I was just going to say that it's pretty much the government saying here's an advance, and nobody's going to have to pay taxes on it. You don't have to claim it as income when you file your taxes for 2020. So it's just a little bit of relief, and it would sure be nice, if this would be forgiven. And I got a feeling that depending on how maybe a fifth wave of congressional economic relief is approved by the House and then the Senate, then moving forward with the president, maybe there'll be another wave. There's a lot of chatter out there that people need more help, and by all means, if you really need it, I'm sure the elected officials are going to do everything in their power to get that done. But I've since flip-flopped, and it is not a loan based off the research I have collected. So, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're not the only one that I heard that from, and so I was just kind of interested. I was like, man, I haven't really done my research on this, which is, kind of surprising for me because I'm secretly a nerd. Some people would say it's a secret. Some people would say it's not, but yeah, I mean, I look at it, and it's so funny because. The way I look at it, I was, we don't try not to get into politics too much here on Recon Athlete, but, I was a supporter of Andrew Yang, who was, basically his big platform was the universal basic income, which was an original idea, back with Martin Luther King Jr. He thought that people should be getting basically a check from the government. For lack of better words. And that's what Andrew Yang was platforming on. He wanted to give $1,000 to every single American every month. And a lot of people thought it was crazy. It was radical. You're insane. There's no way that's going to happen. And here we are, basically a couple months after he dropped out of the presidential campaign, giving a lot of Americans, $1,200. Now it's not going to be a monthly thing.
Right.
For some people, it should be a monthly thing because they're out of work right now. For somebody like me or you, Paul, that aren't really necessarily hurting as bad, we wouldn't need that. We wouldn't need that monthly income. But for those individuals that have been furloughed, that have been laid off, a monthly $1,000 check or $1,200 check. I mean, it's not going to go far, but it might, help you pay rent, might help you pay groceries, might help you do, some of that. So,
100%,
stimulus check, whatever you want to call it, advance on next year's taxes, government loan. I don't know. I don't care. But, shout out to the government officials that were able to get this done. Usually I'm not a fan of the government, no matter, who's really involved. I mean, I work for a government entity, so I see a lot of what can happen when you get too many bureaucrats involved. But it was nice for me, and it's nice for a lot of people out there to get that stimulus check. I was hoping Zach would call so we could get hopefully he'll show up late on the line and let us know what he's going to do with his money, because I know how Zach is, man. Zach he's secretly rich, dude. Did you know that?
I think he's secretly thrifty. That's what I think it is. No, for real.
For real.
Because Zach likes to. I think Zach likes to flex. Shout out Flex ATX. But
Flex ATX.
I think Zach likes to flex secretly. But I think Zach gets a lot of his stuff as gifts, or he finds them on the cheap. And I don't mean a cheap product, but I mean the dude wears Lululemons. The dude wears, combat Nike gear. I don't really know, but he wears stuff that, it's it's fashionable, and he's in his 20s, and that's cool. But I think Zach is secretly, like, when I say secretly thrifty, I mean he's secretly a miser.
Yeah.
I think he hoards his cash, and he's real. Because remember when we got him to buy us dinner one night?
Yeah.
He was like, I'm gonna go broke. I was like, bro, you bought orange chicken from Panda, like. Yeah.
And it wasn't even the full meal. It was like the short. There was like the smaller version,
like the a la carte.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's cool though. It's good to see young people being thrifty and frugal. I wish I would have had those values when I was in my 20s.
Hey, you know what? And that's what I told him, man. We had a conversation about this, before. A few months ago, and he was talking about, because, he was just talking about his W-4 and, because, W-2s are about to come out and taxes. And, he was, I've actually had a conversation with Snoop about, IRAs and stuff like that. But,
right.
but Zach, like he's very knowledgeable. He's very conscientious about his money. So, dude, when I was 25 years old, man, that money was coming in. It was going out, bro.
We remember. We were there. We were in the same spot. We know what we did.
Yeah, we were dumb. We were dumb for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Recon Athlete, episode number 69. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Snoop Daniel over in the green room. Hopefully Zach Lucero will join us on the line. Shout out to everybody joining our watch party right now. I got a shout out to Velma Aleman, Snoop Daniel, of course, Leonard Davila, Marshall, Stuart Newton, Stephanie Marie. What's up, Steph? King Kalunga on there as well. And then joining us on the Recon Athlete page, Emilio the Sarge Juarez. I got a shout out to the Sarge. Man, he's doing a lot of big things with that Lockhart broadcast page, man. Talk about that, man. He's doing big things, man. Shout out to Emilio Juarez.
Yeah. Shout out to him and Coach Amado Galvez. We had some conversation, and I just want to give a shout out to Sarge and the Lockhart Lion broadcasting, man. He's got some really cool stuff. I checked it out the other day.
Yeah.
And they had on like old Lockhart high school football games, and I was like, dang, this is like really cool if you played in those. And Coach Galvez was telling me that they're talking about playing one of our games from 2001, and I'm like, so all the y'all people out there in Recon Athlete land, y'all can see how your boy used to get down with the get down, and they wanted to know, did you play football at Lockhart or was it just baseball?
It was just baseball, man. It was just baseball.
Okay.
It was it was the fall of, hold on, let me think. I think it was fall of
98?
96.
96.
Yeah,
okay.
fall of 96. Yeah. I was a sophomore, went down to Lockhart, lived there for 6 months. I was on there. I went to Lockhart High for the second semester of my sophomore year. Sophomore year. Yeah, that's what it was. Second semester, sophomore year, and I played baseball down there. It was fun, man. I made a lot of good friends. A lot of people that I'm still friends with today. Shout out to actually your cousin Jeremy.
Let me dote on you real quick, Chris, because everybody in town heard about this like hot shot prospect coming from Austin to Lockhart. No, I'm dead serious because, dude, yes, because everybody was talking about you, like, because Jeremy's my cousin, and we all. Jeremy was
Jeremy Rodriguez.
Jeremy Rodriguez was a senior or a junior. And everybody was like, yeah, this guy, Chris, he's coming in from town or from Austin. And dude, you were like this big hot shot coming in, and you were like a sophomore. And sure enough, I remember going to some of the baseball games with my grandparents, and dude, it was like you were like a senior and like going out, and everybody, all these people with scouts were watching you as a sophomore. I just thought it was really crazy to kind of have, man, it's Lockhart America, baby. We didn't get no kind of shot like that, but dude, you were the talk of the town for like a whole year.
Wow, I didn't even know that. I should have stayed there, bro. I mean, shout out to Westwood. Shout out to Westwood, but man, I had a lot of fun, man. I had a lot of fun in Lockhart, man. Like it was different. It was different times, It was just a different environment, different culture, as far as coming from Westwood and going down to Lockhart. I don't know, man. I think the one thing about playing baseball down there was it was a little bit different, just because I had to start out on JV like my sophomore year. I was going to be on varsity here at Westwood. I thought, I didn't know for sure, but I started out on JV, and I almost wanted to stay on JV, man, because I was killing it. I was like pitching again. I was like, man, I'm striking these fools out. But yeah, dude, it was a good time, man. I had a great time at Lockhart Lions. I got a shout out to Gene Salazar, who was the head coach at the time. And yeah, man, I'm interested to see, Paul, if they put those games out there. Also played Monday. Okay, he put Sarge put it on here. 2001 Lockhart Lion game we played on Monday night.
So I'm gonna go look at it after we get off.
Yeah, so he'll check that out Monday night. So once again, shout out to Lockhart Lions broadcast there, and they're doing a great job over there. All right, Paul, let's go ahead and move on with episode 69. Recon athlete here, Christian McCaffery, getting a new contract, becoming, I believe, the highest paid running back in the history of the NFL. Is that what the headline is, Paul?
Yeah, man, $16 million a year. Dude got broken off.
So what does this do for the Dalvin Cooks, for the Alvin Kamaras, for the Aaron Joneses?
Saquon Barkley. Dude, it means that. I think number one, let's stay with McCaffrey, and then we'll get to that second subject. But
okay.
I think the biggest thing was, I think that the ownership group and for the Carolina Panthers saw the fiasco the Dallas Cowboys are in and were in last year, and they said, let's get ahead of this and get McCaffrey signed. We just got Teddy B signed, so we'll have Bridgewater, we'll have Matt Rhule head coach, Joe Brady as offense coordinator, and then we locked up the 23-year-old Christian McCaffrey, and he'll be on their contract with a 5th-year option through 2025. So you have the next 4 years to make runs with your quarterback and running back. And we all saw how prolific that offense at LSU was with Joe Brady as OC. So, man, I just think it's going to be a huge, huge, huge momentum swing. And they have to have this because the GOAT, Tom Brady, is now in their division.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have to really make things work and pop because it's going to be a fight just to get to the playoffs in the NFC South.
Is this a surprise, Paul, to see Christian McCaffrey get this type of contract just due to the fact that you have seen guys like David Johnson and Todd Gurley get paid and then pretty much right away just go downhill, get hurt, and just not become almost a non-factor for their teams? Is it surprising to you?
No, I guess that's a tough question because part of me wants to say no, but I think the majority of me wants to say yes. Mm-hmm. Because I think that Matt Rhule didn't want any distractions, and so he said, let's get the deal done. Can we do it? Do we have the cap space? They said yes. And so they got it done. And so to avoid any distractions, because Matt Rhule, if anybody doesn't know Matt Rhule from his time at Temple then he went to Baylor, he runs a pro-style system in college. And he's a no-nonsense guy. He's like Bill Belichick. He's like the Tom Coughlins, where he's going to have high structure. He's going to demand a lot from you. And if you're not in line or if you have distractions like a contract dispute, he's not going to be putting up with this. And so I think the biggest thing that Matt Rhule wanted to do is get ahead of this, get everybody happy financially, and then move forward because he doesn't want anything coming in between him and the system that he's going to be inputting, especially coming into the pros, because it's a different game, and whether anybody wants to admit it or not, going from college to pro.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to tell you what, I don't think personally this is a bad move by the Panthers. I personally thought it was kind of a surprising move just because of how the running back has been treated lately with contracts. I mean, we saw what it took for Ezekiel Elliott to get a contract. We've just heard, pundit after pundit pontificate about how running backs aren't really worth big contracts because how easily they can get hurt, how short their career span is. Usually by the time they're 30, their careers are done. So I want to say I was a little bit surprised, but I also kind of want to think that maybe the Carolina Panthers rewarded Christian McCaffrey for what he's done for their football team in the past couple of years. in the past few years, and want to keep that going. Keep that that level of play coming from him going by giving him a big contract, so that they can still try to get the same level of production. I mean, they're getting 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving. They are, pretty much getting a guy that can play running back and wide out. You can put him all over the field. I know Matt Rule's excited to use McCaffery in different types of sets, different ways, different positions. So I kind of look at it like they were investing, but also rewarding him, because of what he's done. And I think as an ownership group, as an organization, if I'm a player, I look at that ownership group and that organization and say, you know what? If I go to the Carolina Panthers and I do well, they might reward me as well as invest in me, So I think it's something that's good for the organization to do, because it's almost like getting some goodwill out there, amongst other players that could be on the free agent market or become free agents here in the next year or two. When you see a organization treat their players like that, because I mean, you saw the excitement. If you were paying attention, you saw the excitement that came out of Alvin Kamara, for the running back for the New Orleans Saints. Dalvin Cook, the running back for the Vikings, was excited about it. Aaron Jones, running back for Green Bay Packers, Saquon Barkley, running back for the New York Giants. I mean, any other running back that's coming up to be a free agent, all of a sudden is reinvigorated to go out there and hopefully, make the career and make the actions, everything that they need to do out there on the playing field, put that product out there so that they can hopefully get something similar to what Christian McCaffrey got with the Carolina Panthers. All right, Paul, anything else you want to add about that McCaffrey contract?
All I know is all those other running backs, they better be able to protect or to train and keep their bodies as healthy as he has, because he has some issues coming out of college. But there's not 1,000-yard receiving running back and 1,000-yard rushing running back every single year. And so the guys who can do it, that's great. But I don't really see Saquon or Dalvin Cook getting those. And I think the reason why you don't really see a lot of these high dollar amounts anymore is because, like the running back position was devalued and they're splitting carries. But I think if they're going to get an all-purpose back like McCaffrey, and who's willing to take care of himself and is a legacy and knows how to take care of his body, and he learned like he did from his dad, Ed McCaffery. So I think that's why he got, maybe like you, I'm starting to come on your side, he got rewarded by the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, absolutely. So, big ups to Christian McCaffrey. If we get an NFL, hopefully, if we get an NFL season going here in the fall, we'll see a little bit more of Christian McCaffrey. All right, Recon Athlete, episode number 69, Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez on the line. Shout out to Snoop Daniel over in the green room, hanging out, listening to the Facebook watch party. Shout out to everybody that's on the watch party. And shout out to my cousin, Given McClure, that's out there on the watch party, part of the famous McClure clan down in Cal Allen, from Kindred to Bryden to Justice to Given, and then Justice, and then of course Noble. The McClures all out of Cal Allen. All the brothers, Cal Allen Wildcats, and Justice McClure is hopefully going to get to play next year. We're talking, high school football. Everybody's looking right now, Paul, at getting the pro sports going, right? Yeah. To us here, especially at Recon Athlete and Flex ATX with Snoop Daniel and the crew over at the Horn, we're hoping that the high schools can get going. You know what I'm saying? So, we're hoping that we can get everything, coronavirus under control, and hopefully we can get things rolling for the fall. And one thing that I heard this afternoon, Paul, I kind of want to throw this other topic as assigned. I heard a little bit. Shout out to SiriusXM Mad Dog Radio. Shout out to Christopher Russo, is one of my favorite. Actually, he is my favorite radio personality. And they kind of talked about. Shout out to got a shout. Hold on. Shout out to Jason Walters. What up, Jason? they were talking about, the possibility of having sports, especially football come out, college football in general, this fall, because, we heard Dr. Fauci talk about having some sports start in the summer without crowds, without spectators. I know the PGA's out they've already tried to schedule, I think June 11th through the 13th. They want to try to get a golf tournament in, of course, without spectators. That's going to be in Fort Worth. Can't remember the name of the tournament, but they're talking about having these summer sports. But what Mad Dog Russo and I think it was Chris Fowler were talking about was the college game. And to me, the college game will kind of give, I guess, precedent to the high school game. If colleges start, do you think the high school will follow, or do you think UIL will follow what colleges do, or do you think UIL is going to do their own thing and the high schools will do their own thing?
Well, man, for our listeners who don't know, the UIL is managed by the University of Texas, and so with that being said, there's a lot of scuttlebutt out there. I'm using an old word, yep. Scuttlebutt. That if there's no fans able to play or watch the games, they don't want to have a game.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's really hard that I think the UIL would have to take more of an individualistic approach and look at the totality of all the schools in Texas and say, do we allow this to go on? And I think because of the majority, excluding the large municipalities, I think the majority of the schools would go ahead and open, because I think that the level of risk would be low enough for them to move forward with that. And so it's kind of hard, because if the UIL says the rural schools can go ahead and go forward, what do you do for the larger municipal ISDs? You kind of have to either hold everybody or let everybody go. And that's hard, man. But I think you're right on. If the universities say, let's move forward, then I think the school districts will then move forward with those governing bodies, being probably in line with or in lockstep with, with those collegiate programs. But I think it's all dependent on the pro sports. And I think that's what everybody was really, I really think that the president has had all the commissioners of the major sports leagues, and probably, if not weekly, if not daily, I would say definitely weekly conferences to say, how can we move this forward? Because it's going to have a trickle down impact.
Right.
And I think we really have to see, how other countries are handling, in addition to have already probably had their peak of COVID-19. And I think our best ally to look at right now is South Korea, and say, can they get some kind of sports league going that's on the pro level? Then I think that I've also seen a lot of people talking about MLB wants to do an antibody, research to see, hey, maybe we can get 10,000 people in there who have the antibodies to, protect themselves against COVID-19. Maybe then we can have fans like that. But I think there's going to be a huge leap, if not already a huge leap, with immediate COVID-19 testing. Like if you have antibodies, I think there'll be a way for you to get into the system and watch a sporting event. And if not, maybe we just have games without fans until, I don't know, September or October. And I think it's going to be really hard on the fall sports if nothing happens until August, because we're not going to have a way to measure, fans coming in. We're not going to have a way to test them, because if we do allow fans to go, it's a huge risk if there's no testing involved. And so I think the precedent is saying, the president is saying, look, let's get people in here to test them. What kind of equipment do we have to get that done that's low cost and it's efficient?
Yeah, I think now. Yeah, go ahead. Finish up.
No, I was just going to say that I think that's going to be the best bet right now. So for the sports leagues to get the money involved, to get testing done that's going to be efficient and productive, so that fans can come, so that the trickle down can affect for the rest of the United States.
Right. And I think one of the dates that I kept hearing during Mad Dog Russo's interview with Chris Fowler was November 1st for the college. And if you start November 1st, they were talking about getting rid of a couple of games. Like you don't have basically, UT play Louisiana Tech, or you don't have Texas A&M play, Little Sister of the Poor. Alabama play, some Kent State or something like that. So you take away a couple of games, and then you play the college football season into February. Do you think that if high school did that, could you see the high school teams doing that?
No,
you don't think so? I couldn't see that either.
I just don't see how you would start the season when the season ends, and you have so much travel during the holidays that would really impact, I think, adversely the student athlete as far as them studying, them playing, through things. A lot of prolific teams play through Thanksgiving and up until Christmas. But how are you going to play through Christmas or Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and then into the middle of February? I think that's just extremely demanding for the student athletes. And who's to say, Chris, that the schools are even open? I mean, the schools could have distance learning. Mm-hmm. And kids are having classes, but they're not physically at the school. And I think that would be a huge indicator for us to see if we're going to have a season or not.
All right. Recon Athlete, episode 69, Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez. Shout out to everybody on our watch party. Shout out to Snoop Daniel, Flex ATX. Since we're on high school right now, Paul, I mean, you gave me I forgot to pull up the list.
It's all good, baby. I got you.
You got me. Let's talk a little bit of recruiting news. If you got it, I know. Go ahead,
man. Right now, the block is hot at Westlake right now, so they've just had a litany of run on their student athletes, and of course we'll start out with the top guy, QB1, next man up. Cade Klubnik just got 2 big SEC offers today from Ole Miss, and from the big one in the morning was LSU. I mean, Recon Athlete, we got the guy graded out of 4-star, and I think a lot of that is not only his ability to throw on the run. He's graded out as a pro star. Keep it at Westlake. Running back Zane Miners got offered by Yale today. He has another offer before that. And then Lucas Mayor, I'm probably not saying that right, but I apologize. Lucas, DB from Westlake. Him and his buddy Michael Taffy, they both got offered by Columbia U today. Ivy League school offers, which are D1, and that's awesome for the young men there at Westlake. So lots of big offers coming through for them. One guy I really wanted to highlight, we talked about it on Saturday, was RJ Martinez. He got another offer today from Houston Baptist. And Cedar Park, man, their big lineman, Luke Williams, got another offer, D1, from the New Mexico Lobos. And that is just kind of a few of them that we're running through today. But the talent, bro, is starting to get exposed. And everybody in the Austin area, especially us, and especially the GOAT, Snoop Daniel, knows, like, these young men are producing on a different level. And a lot of people don't really know their names, but they're gonna soon find out their names because it's just inevitable, especially if we can have a football season. And I'm sure Snoop's over there on the couch super bummed because, like, in a month we were supposed to have the first Lake Travis SQT in May, and so I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I sure hope we could get something close to that because a little bit of normalcy would be pretty refreshing right now.
All right, Zach Lucetto now on the line. What up, Zach?
What's up?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How are y'all?
Oh, man, we're chilling, bro. We're chilling. Talk a little recruiting news here in Central Texas. I saw y'all talk. You mentioned somebody on Vandergrift on Messenger. You want to mention that name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
You go ahead, Paul, and I'll follow up.
Okay, cool. So, Vandergrift offensive lineman Michael Lee got offered from Air Force as well. So that's something big that I really was curious. I asked Zach a couple of questions about Michael and, more and more offensive linemen, and we really don't give enough credit to the offensive line, but there's tons of young men, not only defensive side of the ball, but the offensive side of the ball that are, great prospects. And I think Michael would be a really great interior center or guard, depending on where he wants to go at the next level.
Yeah, and I think so. He was really big for Vandergrift this past year because they had so much injury along the offensive line, and he was one of like the latter guys to go down. So he was able to be kind of like that anchor when some of the other names went down earlier. So he was and has always been really big for them. And Paulie asked me about his height, and I think we're starting to see more players in our area, offensive linemen, get Division I offers as kind of like the tides of offense is changing in football too. Now that guards are pulling so much more and having to be so much more athletic, you're able to find spots for these smaller guys and these smaller offensive linemen that have the technical ability, just maybe not the frame. You're able to build offense around those guys.
All right, and I tell you what, that is true, Zach, because as these offenses kind of move into, those like you said, pulling guards and the defenses, the linebackers and even the rush ends and those guys are starting to be a little bit smaller, a little bit quicker. You have to, as an offensive line coach or an offensive lineman, maybe be a little bit more agile. Like you can't have these guys running right past you, especially when you're the type of offense where you're throwing the ball, 60 to 70% of the time. So we'll probably see a little bit of evolution, not only at the high school level, but like you said, at the college level for these offensive linemen. All right, Recon Athlete, episode number 69. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Lucetto on the line. Shout out to Snoop Daniel. Didn't want to shout out to the Sarge. He actually chimed in about the high school football starting in the fall. He chimed in and said districts in high school football have different amount of teams. He said it'd be nice if all districts had the same amount and they did away with non-district games. I think doing away with non-district games might be an option. One or two, shorten the season a little bit. But yeah, I mean that's always an option to try to get that high school football season in. All right, Zach. So you joining us halfway through here, but we started off talking about the stimulus check, bro. You mentioned you got yours. Have you spent yours yet, or are you just gonna put it under the mattress?
Now since we've been on this quarantine and I haven't had any concerts to spend money on, not buying tickets to any games, not buying new workout clothes, so I'm not working out or anything like that, buying new shoes because I don't have nowhere to wear them. I've been really kind of stacking my bread up a little bit. So I think I'm just going to sit on this stimulus check and see what I got in the old bank account once all this stuff is over. They might not see me for a month after this.
I know Zach's going to be in San Tropez. You're going to be on.
I'm going to afford to go to all these. I'd be taking trips to San Antonio. I'll be taking trips to Nicaragua.
Heck yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. As long as it's Corona free wherever you're going, man. Everybody stay Corona free and make sure you wear your mask. Y'all wearing y'all's mask? Zach, you wearing a mask when you go out?
You know what? I don't leave the house.
Oh, okay. Man, whatever. You lying. God, you lying like a
dog.
I don't. Man.
I
You
don't.
lying. You lying.
I don't.
And Paul, Lockhart America, you guys are off y'all's shelter in place, right? It's been a few days now. What's it like down there?
Yeah, we're about a week out. And we also don't live in Austin, Texas, so we don't have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
But, what's that?
Can you tell that y'all are out of it?
What do you mean, can we tell?
Like when you're out, is it different now, or are people still kind of
No, it was different. The day it was expiring, the day of, because it didn't end until 11:59 at night.
Yeah.
But the day of, it was back to normal. Traffic was normal. People were out. People were, walking around. And you only really see the elderly wearing the masks. And that's, I think that's twofold. I think it's protective for themselves, but it's also, them trying to let everybody know, hey, we're older, we're wiser. You should be listening to or you should be emulating what we're doing. But I will say this: I did order some masks, these face shields, because I'm not going to be wearing one of those surgical masks walking around, because it just to me doesn't look cool enough. So I ordered some
You
like,
gotta wear a face shield.
dude, these are like custom face shields, like, you know, San Antonio company, like they're a fishing company, but they make like these face shields like you can wear while you're fishing so you don't get sunburned. And it's basically, it has the same effect as a surgical mask, but it has like a cool design. Like I got a Texas one. I got like an American flag one. I got like a nebula for my mom. And then I got a couple of just like generic, highlighted orange ones just as utility masks. And so I was like, man, I can wear this if I'm mowing the grass, if I can wear this. I mean, I'm not push mowing. I'm riding lawnmower because I got a big yard. So I'm just saying I ain't pushing no mower unless I have to. But yeah, man, these face shields, I'm just gonna rock them if I got to go to Austin.
But is it like literally like those things you see on social media where it looks like a windshield?
A windshield? No, it just looks like a bandana, but it just covers like your face and the back of your head.
Oh, okay. You know what I'm talking about, Chris, right? You've seen those?
Yeah,
people wearing like the mask and the face shield.
Yeah,
That's
the
what I
face
think
shield.
of when I think of face shield.
Really?
Almost like a welding thing that you pull down, like a welding
Well,
mask almost.
Like my cousin's a nurse practitioner, and when she has COVID patients, they have to wear all that. Like they have to wear the N95 mask. They have to wear, I think, another mask over that, like a surgical mask, and then they have to wear this like flip down face shield. I think you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
No. This is like a fabric like material that you just kind of place over your face. And when I get them in, I'll show them to you.
A little more like
more like a mask. Yeah, if you had to say that.
Oh, okay. So I'm in Austin, obviously. I mean, Paul, you're in Pflugerville. I mean, you're in Lockhart. Zach, you're in Pflugerville. Things are a little bit different. But being in Austin, we're supposed to be wearing masks. So when I do go out, I did go to the grocery store the other day. You're supposed to be have a bandana. I did find me a couple of hair ties. Because I'm going to be getting a man bun pretty soon. So I got me some hair ties. So like I don't know if you saw the video that Bobby Bandito put out, aka Matthew McConaughey, about making your own face mask. So I got that going, just in case. Austin, of course, we're still, still in shelter in place. I think it's going all the way to May 8th. I got to shout out to Snoop Daniel for being the ultimate quarantiner. Only thing he does is go and he goes and produces a show for the Horn. Shout out to Craig Way in the mornings, but he's in a room by himself, so I think he pretty much carries a can of Lysol on his hip, like a 6-shooter, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, he just kind of sprays everybody as he walks by him.
So go ahead, Chris. I wanted to, if anybody hasn't seen Chris's profile picture on Facebook, I've dubbed Chris the benevolent gangster.
Yeah, man.
And then I saw Snoop on the IG story, and I was like, Snoop is the hipster gangster.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, man, y'all two guys, man, y'all can rock a bandana, because with myself, if I'm putting on a bandana, I'm getting arrested. There just ain't no way around it.
That was my kind of like, that was my whole thing about wearing the bandana, man. I mean, like, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I mean, I know we're all, us three, me, you, and Zach, we're a little bit, we're not as dark skinned as some of our Hispanic brothers and sisters, but still, man, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, Zach. I don't know if you feel that way about going out with a bandana around your face. I mean, do you feel it might be a little intimidating to others with Zach Lucetto running around with a bandana around his face?
I mean, I don't go out, so I don't have to deal with that.
He's so
full
lying.
Man.
He's so lying.
I don't go out.
Bro, you don't go out. You're telling me you don't go to Taco Bell run?
I stay in the car.
Yo, come on, you still go out?
It's full. Man, we see you
when I go work out.
I was saying
that's Williamson County.
I know we see your Instagram story and your Snapchat. This fool talking about I don't go out. All right, Recon Athlete episode 69. Chris Sanchez, Zach Lucetto. A shout out to Snoop Daniel over in the green room. Dang, we're already at 50 minutes.
I'm gonna call Snoop the bacteria bandito.
Bacteria bandito. And I got to shout out real quick. It is Jackie Robinson Day. Shout out to everybody that's celebrating that. MLB Network's got a lot of things going on for Jackie Robinson Day. Usually on this day, Major League Baseball, all the players be wearing number 42. So this
is episode number 42 for Recon.
Yeah. We'll rewind it. We'll rewind it. Also, kind of slipping back into the coronavirus subject. Did you guys know? Because one of the things that we're a little bit hesitant about, starting sports again is, we don't know if people that have had COVID-19 are, immune or whatever. We talk about antibodies and all that other stuff. But did y'all know this, that Babe Ruth, back in, when the Spanish flu hit 1919, he actually had Spanish flu twice. He had it in May of 1918, and then got it again in I think it was January or something or maybe later that fall. So
because there's different dialects of Spanish. There's the Spanish they speak in Mexico, and there's the Spanish they speak in Spain.
There was
and then you got the Tex-Mex Spanish that nobody understands.
There was
we could have had it 3 times.
There was the Castilian Spanish. Yeah. No, I get you. But yeah, I mean that's the thing that people are really just trying to figure out is, can everybody get this twice? Babe Ruth got it twice, got the Spanish flu twice. So, if you're going off historical anecdotes, then yeah, this might be possible if coronavirus is anything like the Spanish flu. Something else.
You're gonna scare everybody half to death, bro.
I know. Let me scare everybody a little bit more. Rat Wars.
Oh my God.
Have y'all heard about this? Oh
my God.
Zach, have you heard about Rat Wars?
What did you say? Clone Wars?
No, Rat Wars.
No.
Okay, so here's the deal. Let me tell you. Listen up, everybody. So because of the lockdown, right? In big cities, especially in big cities like New York City, New Orleans, anywhere that's got, big rat populations. Rats all of a sudden don't have a source of food because restaurants are shut down, right? So usually a lot of these colonies would feed off the trash of restaurants, right? Well, there's no trash out anymore. There's no crowds leaving stuff, leaving trash on the ground in the alleys. There's no, like I said, no trash in the dumpsters. I'm sure that, hopefully that there's no rats in the actual supply closets, but the supply closets might be empty. So there's no food source for these rats, right? So apparently these rat colonies are fighting each other on the streets, right?
What?
Yes, there's armies of rats that are fighting each other for food sources, and they're cannibalizing each other as well. So dude, it's Google it. Google Rat Wars. Just Google it.
You would be watching Cartoon Network,
bro. No, I'm telling you, Google Rat Wars. Everybody, if y'all what?
You need to get on Twitter, bro.
No, bro. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, this is a real thing. There's a viral video out there there's a viral video of Bourbon Street, because Bourbon Street's completely empty.
There's a video of it?
No, there's just a video of Bourbon Street because it's completely empty, and how the rats are coming out of the sewers and just basically running on the streets now because there's nobody out there and they're looking for food. And so now a lot of pest services, they're warning they're warning basically residents in these big cities, hey, don't leave food out. Make sure your food is put out because they're going to start infesting homes. I'm just saying, man. So this is another thing, another byproduct of the coronavirus is Rat Wars. So I mean, y'all got to. It's interesting to me. I don't know why.
So that doesn't make sense to me, because
why?
If that's the case, wouldn't the municipalities start contracting out pest control companies to like eradicate them?
That's what they're doing. Yeah, no, they're a lot of these. I think, especially in New Orleans, they're putting out a lot of rat baits because the colonies they're looking for food, so they're taking this opportunity to kind of control the rat population. Yeah, and shout out to.
You're telling me we might not get the NFL on time because the New Orleans Superdome is going to be the turf of a rat gang. We're not going to be allowed in.
Right, dude. That's what I'm saying. Shout out to the Partitas, Paul and Mandy. Paul says, "Have you been talking to Emo?" So Emo always talks about bird wars, and Mandy says, "Stop it." She said, "Rat wars." She said, "Stop it. Stop it." I'm telling you.
You scared people twice.
Oh, bro. I'm just telling you, dude. It's interesting. I mean, come on, man. You know, like you see
Chris, it's interesting when you live on the second floor. When you don't live on the second floor, it ain't that interesting, bro.
All right, Recon Athlete, episode number 69. Chris Sanchez, Zach Lucetto. Shout out to Snoop Daniel. Shout out to everybody that's on the watch party. Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
Speaking of sporting events having actually to do with real human beings and not bad, did y'all see the mayor of Los Angeles said that he doesn't think that there should be that the city should host concerts or sporting events until 2021?
I did not see that. We talked a little bit about that earlier about starting college football and high school football. I did not see that though.
Yeah, he said 2021. The mayor of Los Angeles.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, we're kind of like we're 8 months away from there. I don't know. So, thoughts about that, Zach?
I think it makes sense, especially because California has been such like a hot spot for it.
Yeah.
And really, people want all this stuff to be lifted and stuff, but I mean, the sooner you lift it, the less you know about if it's really gone for a while. You know what I mean? So maybe 2021, as much as it sucks, if you lift the stay at home stuff and are able to go outside and live life normally, maybe as far as these big public gatherings like concerts and sporting events, maybe 2021 should be the move.
Paul?
I think what's really going to happen is probably going to be a normal life from here on out. Is people are going to go to sporting events and people are going to go to the malls and people are going to go to public gatherings and everybody's going to have masks. I think that's just going to be the new norm probably for the first after COVID-19, maybe a year or two.
Dude, yeah.
And that may be a solution because I think right now people want to get things back to normal, but to have some kind of PPE, personal protective equipment, you're going to need that mask. And that's something I think you can do for yourself. And you can also do for your fellow human, however you want to, identify yourself. But I think that's going to be part and parcel moving forward is everybody having a mask on hand. They may not be wearing it, but I bet you they're going to have it on their person.
All right. So question, let's say University of Texas first football game is November 1st. Zach Lucetto, I'm going to go for you on this first one. November 1st is the first University of Texas football game. You have a personal protective equipment. Are you going to go to that football game?
Who are they playing?
Good question. Good question. That's pertinent information.
Yeah. All right. Who are they playing? Okay. Let's say they playing BYU. You going?
I'm going.
You going? Let's say they playing Louisiana Lafayette.
How good are my feet?
How good are your seats? Let's say you're 20-yard line, first row of the mezzanine.
I'm not going.
Not going? Okay. 20-yard line, down on the 6 rows up. You can almost smell Matthew McConaughey.
I'm going.
You going?
I'm not even wearing my mask so I can smell better.
All right. Okay. Paul Rodriguez, November 1st, University of Texas. You got personal protective equipment.
Let's swap Texas State for
Texas
University.
State. Yes. Let's say Texas State because
in that case, I wouldn't be going regardless.
Well, I mean, yeah, but Paul's got season tickets to Texas State. So Paul,
the family does. The family does.
The Rodriguez family in Lockhart, Texas. Shout out.
You're even ashamed to say that it's you, so you wouldn't go.
Who, me?
Yeah, no, Paul.
Paul.
We'll talk about it off air.
Yeah. All right. So Texas State plays their first game November 1st. You have PPE, personal protective equipment. Paul Rodriguez, are you going to the game at Bobcat Stadium?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm interested to know and to see the reaction of the public if they do decide like, hey, we're going to start these games. You guys, we've done tests, we don't have a vaccine yet, but we're, scientists, medical professionals are pretty comfortable with having crowds. I'm interested to see who actually, or the number of people that actually go to these events. You know what I'm saying? Because I just think there's still going to be a hesitation. I think you're going to see, you will see a lot of masks, like you said, Paul. But I think there's going to be a hesitation from the general public that, of them, trying to, of going to football games or going to concerts or going to anything, so.
Well, I have a question for you, Chris.
All right, go ahead.
So Texas's first game is November whatever.
First.
You have season tickets.
Right.
They lift everything and don't give any further instructions about you have to wear a mask, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those games, if it's say there's 10 home games, there's not 10 home games, but say there's 10 home games, how many of those 10 home games do you wear a mask on your own accord?
10 home games?
Yeah.
Every single one.
Really?
Yeah. Every single
so
one.
Not, even if they don't say you have to?
Yeah. I just think I'm in the boat with Paul right now. I'm in the boat of if I'm, when they say it's time to go out, I might, if I'm going to be around big crowds, maybe not like a bar or a restaurant, but if I'm going to be around like,
so nowhere you're trying to look good and get sick.
40. Yeah. If I'm going to be around 30, 40, 50,000 people, I'm wearing a mask,
What about when you're going to the high school games for recon?
When I go to a high school game, probably wearing a mask unless I'm on the sideline.
You're going to be like, the RJ Martinez, come here, baby.
If I'm on the sideline and I can stay away from everybody, then I'll be all right, But if I got to sit in the crowd, or if I got to be, up in the press box or whatever, I think sideline where I can kind of control the distance away from other people. I think I don't have to wear a mask. I don't think I'd have to wear a mask, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. All right, Recon Athlete, episode 69. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Luceto. Shout out to Snoop Daniel, who just made himself a drink.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did we drive him to drink?
Yeah. Now he's enjoying the show over there. Before we get out of here, WWE was deemed an essential business for the state of Florida, and that's why they're still able to have their broadcasts. Zach Luceto, do you watch wrestling? Do you see WWE as an essential business?
Okay, well, first off, if that doesn't scream someone got paid off, I don't know what does.
Right. True.
And two, do you think I watch wrestling?
I do not think you watch wrestling.
You would be correct.
Okay. Paul Rodriguez, do you watch wrestling, and have you seen any of these WWE events without crowds?
I used to watch. Do I currently think I would watch without a crowd? No. But I think Zach's right on point. But I'm not going to believe anything from anybody from the state of Florida when Robert Kraft has to go get a special time in your state. I'm just not going to believe anything coming out of any legislature's mouth just because I just think there's a whole bunch of nonsense going on.
Well, it doesn't matter if you believe it. Like, what do you mean you don't believe it?
The corruption is. I think the corruption is so thorough that it's ridiculous right now.
But like, you would have to believe it because it's happening.
I know, but I'm not going to believe that it's. I don't believe that having these events is essential. I just don't believe that.
The state of Florida basically, and the governor basically said that WWE is essential to the economy of Florida. So,
well, did y'all see? So, a couple more things I want to bring up.
Yeah.
Before we get off the air,
Oh man,
A or B. I have to A or B pick.
we don't have a time limit. Go ahead.
Okay, so first off, did y'all see that they started up that baseball league again in like Taiwan? You probably already talked about it.
In Korea?
In Korea or something like that. I thought it was Taiwan, but whatever, same thing.
No.
I probably shouldn't have said that. I take it back. But there's like mannequins and like cardboard cutouts and stuff in the stands. What do you think about that? Do you think they should do that, or do you think they should be empty?
Is there really? There's mannequins in the. I gotta Google this. So you're saying that
so
South Korea baseball mannequin.
No, so it looks like the game does.
What did you say?
So it looks like a video game in the crowd.
Yeah, but it's not like every seat. It's like there was a couple groups of people that decided to sit together, and it's like a bunch of mannequins over here, and like a party of cardboard cutouts over here.
You're right.
And they all got the masks on too. The big people.
Yeah, baseball league restarts in Taiwan with robot and mannequin fans in seats. Wow.
So let everybody know that it was Taiwan, not what I said.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chris? Would you rather it be empty, or do you like that?
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm watching this video. Yeah, they got mannequins in the. Okay, so here's my problem with this, Zach, is that they only have they got one, they don't have enough. There's. I don't know.
So you want to be filled with mannequins?
Well, they have a whole section filled. So are they also so if they're doing the mannequins and the cardboard cutouts, are they also doing the crowd noises? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have that chance.
Like if they had if they have hotkeys like I do, you know what I'm saying? If somebody gets a base hit, and they go, maybe not like that, but you know what I'm saying? If they were able to, because I think that's the problem with WWE right now. When you're watching it on TV, there's no noises or there's no music in the background. I like
the Falcons.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's not empty seats, but and it's funny too because even the cardboard cutouts, the faces of the cardboard cutouts have masks on.
Yeah.
So I would if I don't know this, but if I'm the director of Taiwanese baseball and I've decided to put cardboard cutouts in seats, I'm also piping in crowd noise. That's me. Paul Rodriguez, what do you think about this?
I think that's just a social engineering tactic. I think they're just trying to get people to be used to being in public with masks on. And I bet you they are funneling. If they're going to that extent of being that detailed, that I think they probably are. I'm pretty sure they're funneling that crowd noise or some kind of music to bring energy, because that'd be one flat game if, there's no noise or music or any kind of little drops that they're using so that they could have a little bit of familiarity with the game.
Dude, they have some of these mannequins holding up signs, and they have some of them.
I'd rather it just be empty and have players mic'd up or more field mics or something.
Yeah. If you're a player or a fan, or if you're watching it on TV, well, I mean, is that what
if I'm watching it on TV? If I'm watching it on TV, I'd rather that.
You'd rather have the noise of the game.
Yeah.
Even in baseball, though, I mean, there's a lot of times it's just there's not a whole lot going on.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I mean, that's the job as the color commentator, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be a Vin Scully, baby. You gotta know every little thing about every single player, and what the second baseman's third grade teacher said about him, and his spelling. You got to be able to do all that kind of stuff if you're one of these sports broadcasters. So. And
then, Chris, the second thing I wanted to bring up, Paul, I wanted to get your opinion on this, mainly because you didn't really talk much on the last thing I brought up. But I think the first domino to fall of, I think what we're going to be seeing from a lot of schools, especially smaller schools like this, St. Edward's just announced that they're cutting 6 of their programs due to the economics of the programs not bringing in any money because of the coronavirus and stuff. So they're cutting men's soccer, men's and women's tennis, men and women's golf, and cheerleading from St. Edward's University.
What?
So what do you? Yeah. So just because those programs weren't able to bring in any money, they're cutting those programs from the athletic budget, and they're not going to have them anymore.
Wow. So what I think about this lead off is any program, any university out there, private or public, that does not currently have a football program, I think you're going to see what St. Edward's just did. And the reason I make that point is because football, I believe, is such a high revenue generator that it can sustain itself, and it can also sustain other intercollegiate sports. So with that being said, yes, I agree that we're going to see more of this, but it's only going to be from schools that don't currently have a football program.
Mm. And
and if you have a football program like we use Trinity, Trinity University in San Antonio, they're a D3 school and they're a private university similar to St. Edward's, but their football program is going to be able to sustain them. And I'm pretty sure the surplus of revenue that they have is going to be able to carry them through this up and coming season. And if that were not the case, they wouldn't be making these offers to student athletes in football, as well as continuing to carry on their other programs. Now, you may see some sports like go away, like, I don't know, fencing or something that's not a high revenue generator, but I don't think you're going to have a mass exodus of intercollegiate sports like St. Edward's.
And that's my alma mater, man. I'm kind of disappointed to hear that.
I'm disappointed you didn't know it was going down.
Yeah, man. I gotta keep up with I gotta keep up with St. Ed's, baby. Shout out to them Hilltoppers. All right, Recon Athlete, episode 69. Chris Sanchez, Zach Lucetto, Paul Rodriguez. Shout out to Snoop Daniel, Flex ATX. Don't forget to shout out or to check him out Friday night 7 to 9 on 104.9 The Horn. He's gonna have his quarantine radio going on. And we got a I also want to shout out to Patrick Davis, host of Insincerious. You can check out his show on the Horn as well. I believe Monday nights at 8 p.m. Zach Lucetto, shout outs, baby.
Shout out to you, Chris, and you, Paul.
Oh, thanks, man.
That's it.
All right. Paul Rodriguez, shout outs.
I want to shout out to our sponsors, Christ Market, Focus Fit San Marcos, and the Social. Thank y'all very much for supporting us through this time. Over the weekend, I went and got me a college pack. I don't know if y'all saw that on the socials, but bro, that brisket, those ribs, they all slammed. It was really good eating for Easter Sunday. So I got that up and took it to the fam. So it was a really good time. But shout outs, I'm going to say shout out to all the essential people in the world minus the WWE.
Dang. Why is that?
Because I think it's a farce that they did whatever they had to do to become essential business in Florida. It's like you're putting all these people at risk. Understandably, those people who are working behind the scenes probably need that check, but those superstars probably don't.
All right. Fair enough. Snoop Daniel, you should give it any shout outs? Are you shouting out to anybody?
Me.
Snoop says to shout out to me. All right. I'm going to shout out to everybody that was joining on the watch party tonight. Thanks for, hanging out with us here on Facebook
Hey,
Live.
can I give y'all some homework?
Yeah.
Hey, y'all both have Hulu, right?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Well, you can just steal Chris's Hulu.
Yeah. I'll give you my login, Paul.
We'll get a login. We'll get one.
Yeah.
So they made HBO available for a little while.
Right.
Cool.
Not all of it.
Have y'all seen that McMillions documentary?
McMillions?
Yeah.
It's about
It's I just started it a little bit ago. It's about that McDonald's monopoly scandal.
Oh, really?
So if you guys want to watch that and try to finish it by Saturday, we can talk about it.
Is it like a series?
Yeah, I don't know how many episodes it is, but you're sheltering in place, so you should have time.
Yeah, man. Well, you know us, man. All three of us got to work from home. But yeah.
Yeah, but if I can do it, y'all can do it.
Right,
how many episodes is it?
He said he didn't know. Here,
Oh,
hold
he
on.
doesn't know.
Let me
Okay.
look. Let me look. Let me Google it real quick. I got Googs in front of me. McMillions McMillions episodes. All right, here we go. How many episodes is McMillions?
Produced by Mark Wahlberg.
Six episodes.
Oh, that's not bad. 45 or 30 minutes, 20 minutes rather.
I don't know. Zach, you've seen
Okay.
one. Do you know how long the episodes are?
Probably closer to 45.
45 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So if we did, well, we'd have to do 3 tomorrow and 3 Friday. Do it by Saturday, right? Or maybe 2 tonight.
Yep. Maybe.
No. We'll see. All right, McMillions. All right, that's our homework from Zach Lucetto. All right. Well,
I mean, we really don't stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning, Zach. So I mean, we'll try to do our best.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it on Saturday.
All right, McMillions. Y'all check it. And then maybe we'll put it out there on Recon Athlete and invite our folks, our normals, our normies, our regulars to join us in this McMillions conversation here on Saturday. All right, we'll see y'all Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. Right here on Facebook Live. Make sure if you missed anything, check out our YouTube channel. Paul Rodriguez, do your thing, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all are enjoying the podcast, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. Everybody on YouTube, hit the bell. We'll let you know when we upload. We gone.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Make way for Flaco Jimenez, Mingo Saldívar, Pete Ibarra, David Farias, and David Lee Garza. Court.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Court.